So I wasn't able to do much videoing yesterday. My video I ended with me doing the double top plate on half of the cabin, and then I went and had some lunch and it started raining, so I wasn't able to video what I did for the rest of the day. But while it's not raining right now, it looks like it's about to, I will show you guys what I got done yesterday. So I got the double top plate. I don't know if you can see it. It's done on the whole cabin. And at the corners up here, I have it overlapping so it locks the walls together with this second top plate. So that's done everywhere. And then to prepare for getting these Aspen beams in place, I wanted to make sure the walls were not going to move. So now they're like, you can hardly even shake it. So I did my first run of plywood, 4 foot, at all the corners, just to lock the walls all together, just so it felt like it was a lot more secure. Because these beams, once I lift these up, they're probably 150 pounds each. So that's going to be a lot of weight resting on the walls. So what I'm going to be doing today is I have to mark out the center of the cabin. And if you remember from when I was framing the floor, I put 4 pieces of blocking right in the center, and it was directly over the beam, which was over the concrete blocks. So I'm going to figure out the center point, the exact center point of the cabin. I'm going to drill a hole down, put a chunk of rebar down, glue it into place. I'm going to have it stick up about 5 inches, and then I'm going to drill a hole in the center of this log at the bottom, which is going to allow me to lift it up and set it down onto the rebar. The rebar will go 5 inches into it. That'll keep it sitting in the center point, so it won't, if you bump it, it won't move a bit. Then I'll level off the post, and then I need to cut these beams down to size. I need to cut them about a foot shorter, each of them, and then notch the ends. So I have to square off the ends to sit in those saddles right up there on either end. So if it's this beam, I'm going to have to measure 5.5 inches in, cut this straight across here, and flatten this out so it'll sit flat up in the saddle. And I'll have to do the same with this other end that's going to sit on that post. And then I'm going to use I'm going to use one of these plates to tie the 2 beams together. I'm going to cut straight across where it's notched like that. I'm going to cut straight across, flatten it out, and then use this as a plate to just secure both of the beams together so they can't ever come apart. And to secure it up here, I'm just going to nail through each side. I got 4 inches of space so I can shoot a bunch of nails through on either side. And then when I plywood, the back of the beam is going to be flush with the back of the wall. So when I plywood up higher, the plywood's going to nail into the beam as well. So it'll all tie into the wall. So that's what I'm going to do today, or try and get done today. The sun's out right now, but it's been raining off and on, so I don't know how much video I'm gonna get, but I'm gonna try and get the beams in place if possible. They're gonna be hard to lift up. I'm hoping I'm gonna be able to lift the one end up. I'm gonna try and lift the one end up, get it sitting up in here, and then come over, lift this end up and set it up on the post. That's my plan. I don't know if it's going to be too heavy or what, but I'm going to try it. I'm just going to have to make sure the post is sitting in there, secured, and I'm going to have to brace it down on either side just so there's no way it can move, because it's a lot of weight that I don't want to come crashing down. That'll be a little lighter now. I've got my ends marked out. So I'm cutting off this top bit to make this, I'm keeping this square here. It's going flat across there. That's what's going to be sitting up on my wall in the saddle that I left. That's the other ones marked out too. And I just cut them down to length. And I have to wait to cut my flat area on these ends, because these are the ends that are going to sit on the posts that I'm putting in. So I have to figure out how tall to make the post and then how wide it is, so I know how much to notch flat. This is the rebar I'll be hammering down into this hole I'm going to drill, and it's going to leave about 4 inches sticking up, and then I'm going to drill 4 inches into the post. Once I have it cut down to size, I have to cut it down to I think 91.5 inches, and then I can get that set in place, brace it. I'm going to have to brace it to all these blocks. I'll level it and brace it just so it can't move. And then I gotta cut these notches on these beams, and then they're ready to lift into place. So I'm hoping to get them set up into place by the end of today. The sun's out, so I'm gonna try and get as much done as possible before it starts raining again. that was right into the blocking I have in there. Now this is probably going to be a tight fit. I don't even think I need to glue it in. I'm definitely going to have to hammer it in. There we go. I need to get this log in here, that's the post, and cut each end. I have to make sure each end is cut square. So I'll probably carry it in here and put it up on these blocks. I'm running out of room to work in here with all this stuff. It's okay, Sass. You're a good girl. Hey, stop eating sawdust. Stop eating sawdust. Ickies. Okay. So this end's going to be the bottom, and it's definitely not cut straight, so just going to use this as a bit of a guide to make sure I cut this straight. Okay, that's good. That was quite a bit off. I'm going to find the center of this and drill a hole. Here, you want this, pup? You want this? Go out there. Go there. Hi, pup. Hi, you heard that? So, yeah, that looks good. And then I gotta measure out for my length. Hi, you heard the chainsaw again, huh? Odin's not scared of much. Well, actually, he is scared of a lot of stuff, but one of his worst things is a chainsaw. Yeah, I'm just going to screw this in, some braces in, and level this out so I can see what I'm working with. Okay, so that's level that way. Okay, so that's secure enough for now. Ah! Okay. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. So that side needs to go up there. So I gotta lift it over this stuff. It's not that heavy, but it's definitely awkward. I'm just going to walk it over here. We'll see what happens. Oh, okay. Okay, so if I could slowly sit it up here. Okay, that's gonna work. We gotta get this stuff out of the way. So, I'm just gonna lift it up and then walk it up and sit it up there. You stay there, Sasa. Okie dokie. It's all right. Yeah, so I gotta slide it that way. I gotta slide it out until it sits down on both of these notches. Wowzers. Almost like I measured it or something. The first beam is up. I can see it's like, it's not 100% flat. This was chainsaw milled, so there's a little bit of a dipper up here. I'll show you off the ladder. But if it's going to be an issue, I'll shim it. That's where I notched up here. I want to show, I'm going to have to trim out here You see how it's sticking out an inch and a bit? I had to do that because otherwise my two beams weren't going to sit half on this. So the top of this post was an inch and a half that way. So this beam on this side that I haven't put up yet was only going to have 2 inches to sit on, and I wanted it to have the 3.5. So this beam is an inch and a half, it's about an inch and 3/8 long. This beam over here is going to be an inch and 3/8 short. So I'm going to put some plywood behind the beams and nail it to the beam so I have something to sheet to. I'll show you what I mean about it being a little wavy. It's pretty level right here. Right there it goes up a tiny bit. So if it's gonna make my floor seem unlevel, I'll use the belt sander and just run over that spot until it's flat. But it's pretty level with the double top plate, especially on this end. I haven't put a level up here to check yet. These beams were the aspens I took down when I was clearing this area. It's almost a year ago to the day. I think it was sometime in October last year. So I dropped a few aspens that were leaning towards the cabin that could potentially fall. I believe they were a couple that were right over here. So just by eye, it looks like this is pretty level with the wall back there. My loft floor joists are going to sit on that double top plate back there and then on here, and then I'm going to have a rim joint on the front and on the back. So just eyeing it, it looks like they're dead on. Another cool thing about these beams is, I think it's this one. Oh yeah, there it is. You can see, let's see if you can see. There's bear. You can't really see, it's too dark. There's bear claws, there's some. A bear climbed this tree and left claw marks all the way up. So I saved that. I saved that edge. So you can see it from below. There's bear claw marks all the way up it. Now down slowly. Okay. This one's heavier. Okay. Okay. Bring it up. Okay. Okay. Wow. Oh. That fit better than I thought it would. That one was heavier. So I'm going to point out something that you might notice right away. See how this is lower than that? That's because this one was deeper. So I don't know if it's gonna be too, well, it's gonna be noticeable, but it's not like this edge is flat. So I mean, it goes up and then down and then up and then down and then up and then down. The main thing was them being flush at the top, which they are. I want to show you, I was put a level up here earlier and I couldn't believe that how level it was. Hi guys, so I finally got the camera back out. I'm up here at the new cabin build. It's right now it's -2, so it's not melting, but at least this snow stopped for a bit, or it looks like it's about to start up again. I've been down here working pretty much every day, not super long days because it's been really cold. Today's one of the warmer days, and a few days it was really heavy snowfall, so I didn't spend too much time down here working. It's difficult doing this by myself on nice days, let alone when it's snowy out and everything's slippery, and it's just I have to take it easy. But I'll show you what I've got done so far. The last thing that I did before I left a week and a half ago when I was out here was I got the beams for the loft in place. I lifted them up, got them set on the post. So I'll show you what I've done in the 5 days I've been here with all these snowstorms. This has been what's been bringing me to and from the cabin. A few days I've barely made it. I don't have chains for it, so I just air the tires down, and it's been able to get up all the hills, but hauling all the plywood that I've been hauling down has been difficult. Everything's been difficult so far this trip. So I got my quad and my supplies, and I got the generator down here and the compressor. I got both dogs with me this time. So let's take a look. I got all the rim joists and all the joists set in place and nailed in place. So I did that a few days ago. I've been shoveling out as much snow as I can because I don't want it sitting on the tarps that I laid down on the floor of the cabin. So I've been shoveling out as much, but it's been melting a bit and then freezing and melting and freezing, so now it's a lot of ice. So in here you'll see what I got done. Here's the post and the 2 beams that I did last time I was out here, and I've now framed the floor of the loft up above this beam. So the joists are using 2x8s again. The top of the beam is level with the double top plate over on this side, so it's spanning from the double top plate on the outside wall over to the top of the beam that's in place. So I framed it all 16 on center and then threw in some blocking at the 4-foot mark. I've got this side, these sheets are all nailed in. I just got finished nailing them in today. And then I was 1 sheet short for right over here. So I got to get up there and get that sheet nailed in. You can see that there's a 3-inch strip that I'm going to have to add I'm going to do that in spring once it's time to frame the wall up above the loft. I just want this plywood in place so I can tarp. I got a heavy duty 20-foot long by 12-foot tarp. So I'm going to tarp this above this sheeting. This will protect half of the cabin floor. I don't want a lot of snow sitting down here because in springtime it'll melt and it'll eventually find its way through the tarp. So I'm going to have this tarped up above so the snow will be sitting up here, and I can periodically over the winter I'm going to climb up here at the ladder and shovel it off. You can see it was snowing when I was installing these joists and sheeting. It's just been a race against time. So now for this half, what am I going to do for this half to protect? I am planning on cutting some small trees or poles, whatever I can find, and I'm going to run it from here. It's an 8-foot span, so it's going to span from here over to this outside wall. I'm going to nail it in temporarily. I'm going to do that all along here. It's going to have every 2 foot I'm going to run a post or across, or a log across. Then I'm going to throw up some plywood on top of that, nail it down to hold everything together, and then I have some old sheets of roofing tin I'm going to lay out and make a temporary roof to cover this half of the cabin. So that's the plan. As well, I'm going to come in and finish sheeting this wall just so snow doesn't blow in. I think I'm going to try and sheet as much as I can and sheet over as many windows as I can, because I don't want the wind blowing. Like if you see behind me here, I don't want wind blowing in all the snow through these openings. So I'm going to try and close it off as best I can for winter time. I'm going to bring you up here, up on top of the loft, and show you what the lookout is and what it looks like from up there. I'm just having to take it real easy because there's ice everywhere, so I don't want to fall and break my leg up here when I'm alone. This is all what I did so far today. I started this morning. And this is my sheet. I was short. I got it up here. It's going right over here. And that'll finish off the sheeting of the floor of the loft, except for this strip that I'm going to leave till spring. Here's what it looks like up here. There's Sassa down there. Some more snow clouds coming in. Alright, I'm pretty frozen, so I think that's it for me today down here at the new cabin. I'll show you what I got finished. I got the tarp all tied in place and nailed in place, so it's hopefully gonna work pretty good. It's a maze of rope right now, but I have it coming down about a foot on that side, and I have it coming down covering the beam on this side. So I'll probably go 4 foot higher with the plywood, and then this gap is going to be blocked with the tarp, and then hopefully I can continue on with all the sheeting and get a bunch more sheeting done, cover up some of these windows, get it all nice and sealed up inside. But that's it for today. I'll head back down tomorrow. Hopefully it's not snowing.